So when I was in college, about 2010, I guess, like about 15 years ago now, there was this woman I was infatuated with. There was this woman I had a tremendous crush on, and I wanted to date her, and maybe she was flirting with me a little bit, or maybe not, I don't know, but she had no interest in me. And every psychology session back in 2010, I would go to my psychologist and talk about her, and I really wanted to date her. And I asked, why doesn't this woman want to date me? And the analogy my psychologist used was, this woman is an expert tennis player. And to my knowledge, this woman, I don't even know if she played tennis or not. I don't know how he came up with fucking tennis, but he said, this woman is an expert tennis player. And you're a beginner tennis player. Expert tennis players don't want to play with beginners. They want to play with other experts. Expert tennis players want to play with other expert tennis players. I said, well, I used to be an expert video game player, and I had this friend who is a beginner, and I wanted him to get good like me and my family members and other friends, and I would train him in a video game. So can she train me to be an expert tennis player too? And he's like, no. Expert tennis players only want to play with experts. I get what he was saying. Obviously you're a man-child who is on the path to going nowhere. You're probably going to wind up in the psychiatric hospital and you don't have much of a future. I mean, he didn't literally say that, but that's probably what he meant. And, this woman, obviously she's interested in dating somebody who's a man who's going to have a future, who's, an expert tennis player, an expert life player. Yeah, man. But I don't know how maybe he was trolling with that. I don't know. Expert tennis player? I mean, to my knowledge, I never told him this woman knew how to play tennis. I don't know how he came up with that analogy, but yeah, to my knowledge, she didn't know tennis, And I guess he was right. I was a beginner tennis player. And actually, thinking about the video game player, that friend who I wanted to be an expert video game player, he hated the video game. He didn't want to be an expert video game player. He didn't even like to play the game. In fact, he just didn't want to get good at it. He didn't want to get trained, and he didn't want me to let him win and get moves in to train him. He just had no desire to be an expert video game player.